Welcome to Between the Shelves, the premier Save a Library podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and this week I am joined by Kristina from Adult Services.
Hello.
And Morgan from Patron Services, head of Patron Services, I should say.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome back. So this week we are celebrating Video Game Week, and in previous episodes we've talked about some of our favorite games, we've talked about some specific genres and series, but for this episode we're going to be talking about the games that made us. The games that stood out and kind of defined our preferences, I guess, our gaming habits, maybe, sort of tailored our tastes.
I would say even made us as people.
I would go as far as saying that as well. And I can't wait to see what the two of you have brought to the table today.
Many things.
Yeah. So does anyone want to talk about the game that made you, the first one?
I can.
Yeah, go.
So the first one would be Barbie Fashion Designer, which is a 1996 computer game where you design outfits for Barbie. I mean, there was like a limited amount of things, but you would choose the occasion, you would choose the pattern, the colors, and then Barbie would like 3D model it for you. Which is pretty advanced for like 1996.
What system was this for?
It was a computer game.
Okay.
Was this the one where Barbie also could ride a horse and you take care of it?
No.
Okay.
But in this one, it came with like special fabric paper that you could put in your printer and it would print your designs on it and then you could cut them out and they were specifically sized to fit your own Barbies.
Wow. It's like paper craft. Like you fold it and put it together?
You don't even really have to fold it or anything. It basically comes like, I guess all of the pieces were specifically designed to be easy for a child to put together.
So it's kind of like a hospital mock?
So it's like you could make like
gown
a circle skirt and like, then you would just put like, it came with like little pieces of Velcro that you would stick on.
Oh, interesting.
And then you would just stick it on and you can stick it on Barbie.
That's really cool.
I did accidentally a lot of research on this game. I just wanted to know when it came out because like I remember playing it, but I couldn't remember like what year it was. So this game is the first video game that was specifically marketed towards girls. And it did so well that it spawned the entire rest of the series of Barbie video games. There's so many, and even like the cartoons and stuff.
Wow.
Like this game was like, wow, girls will buy anything just like boys. Like that's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's a market in video games that girls will participate in.
Yeah.
Parents love their daughters as much as their sons.
Crazy. Yeah. And like people, I guess, didn't really realize like the impact it was having, but it like outsold a bunch of games those years. It's in the Video Game Hall of Fame, and it beat out Quake, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, and GoldenEye to make it in that year. Like that's how.
Did all those games release in 96?
I don't know that they came out all in 96, but
that was like the year they were eligible. And yeah, wow.
But to beat out like GoldenEye, that's
yes,
wild.
And GoldenEye feels like it's so much more in like in pop, like ingrained in our culture more than Barbie Fashion Designer, which to me, nobody else was playing this weird game.
Yeah, there might be maybe a little bit of a stigma to it. Like you don't want to admit that you were printing out clothes for your Barbie, or not even think of that as a game, maybe.
Yeah, so I think this one is one that like defined me as a person because I'm really interested in fashion, and I think Barbie is responsible for that.
Yeah, wow.
Go Barbie.
I do believe you can download a copy of it currently.
Oh, it's freeware now?
Yeah.
Good. I'm sure those patterns are super high def.
Honestly, I was looking at screenshots of it while I was doing the research, and I remember being like, wow, this is just like real Barbie. And like she moves like Barbie, like it looks so good. Yes. It looks so, they had to like redo Barbie's proportions for it in order to make like the modeling work because Barbie's proportions are designed for clothing. She has to be that size to make clothing that looks nice. That's why everyone complains about Barbie's unrealistic.
I was going to say, it's not because she has an inhuman body shape.
She does have an inhuman body shape, but she has to construct the clothes for her.
It's so wild.
So they had to redo that.
I love the interactivity, like the making the game into the real world. I love that. I wish they did more of that.
Yeah. I was going to see if I could maybe find some of the paper online and see if I could.
We'll post a link for our patrons to check it out. Check out the show notes.
Yeah, that makes me think of like old games that I played as like a young kid, and I think one of them that I would play at my babysitter's house, it would be like a bunch of us like all surrounded around one computer, and we play Putt-Putt Saves the Day. And you can still play it. I think Nintendo Switch has an emulator for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think I almost bought it for $10. But yeah, I remember that game very vividly, and even like I ran into some of the kids like recently. I mean, we're all adults now, but we were all talking about playing that game and how we would like fight over the computer or all work together to solve the puzzles and stuff like that.
Is that one of the games that made you that, or is that just a fond memory?
I think that would be a fond memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Save it for the Fond Memories podcast.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, not defining, but fond memory.
When I was picking the games that defined me, I was going through all of the computer games I played as a child. And like it was like Math Blaster, which looking back, like why would I think doing math was fun? Like
It worked. They tricked you into it.
Yeah.
The Chameleon Typer game. Do you remember that one?
no.
Oh, it was like a teach kids to type program, but it had like a chameleon that would eat the words as you finished typing them.
Oh, that's
I remember
cool.
playing that.
That's much
incessantly.
nicer than the way I learned how to type, which is where they just stick a piece of paper over your hands and you have to be as accurate as possible.
Oh no.
And this was in like 3rd grade.
Oh wow, that's high stakes.
Yeah.
They didn't teach you with like the ruler slap on the back of your
No, this
wrist.
was public school, so they could only abuse us so much.
They could only embarrass you into
Yes.
learning to type. Oh, awesome. All right, I'll go next if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
So the first game that made me, I hope I haven't talked about it in a previous episode, but it's Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. Came out in 1991. I don't think I played it until probably like 93, 94 or so. But it was the first... Well, let me back up. So I only had a Game Boy. That was like my first console growing up. And I played Super Mario Land incessantly. Like, I would beat it every night. I would keep like statistics of how long it would take me to beat it, how many lives I had left, my score, everything. I was a librarian even back then. So I'd go over my dad's best friend's house. They were family friends. And his son had a Super Nintendo, which I'd never seen before. And he was playing like the HD version of the game that I was playing all the time. So Super Mario World is like the 16-bit version. It has 250 colors. You could play it on a giant 12-inch TV. So it was just mind-blowing. Like, it looked like the future. So whenever we'd go over there, I'd immediately like beeline it to the Super Nintendo, park my butt right in front of the TV, and we'd play that incessantly. So then, I think I told this story in a previous episode, so I'm not going to tell it again, but eventually that Super Nintendo made its way to my house and stayed there forever, and I still own it to this day. So I've played Super Mario World so many times. I've beaten it countless times. It is the game with which I measure every other game. I still think it's like the perfect game. The controls are just so tight. And whenever I play like any platformer game to this day, I still compare it to Super Mario World. Like, do the controls feel as good as Super Mario World? Just everything. The level design, the music is iconic. It's just like the perfect game. And if you're a Mario fan, it's like the game where they established like the aesthetic of Mario that would go on to this day, in the Super Mario World movie that just came out.
Have you pulled out the Super Nintendo since, and does it still work as well? Or do you have to like blow on like every single cartridge to get it to work?
By the time I had retired it to a shelf, I was still having to blow pretty hard to get that thing to work. But I haven't tested it out in a while. It's still sitting on a shelf collecting dust, but I still have the games. I still have my original controllers and system and everything. But I will come back and replay it on like an emulator every once in a while. But yeah, it's just, I still remember where I was when I beat the game 100% the first time and unlocked the Pumpkin World, which only those who are real Mario fans know the Pumpkin World.
Only OGs know the Pumpkin
Well,
World.
now you have to tell us where you were.
I was in my basement. It's not very exciting.
I guess where else would you be, though? It's not like you'd be
I was
like
in my gaming
in a
cave.
field somewhere.
Could be in the car.
Oh, that's true.
At night with your little like light. There are
Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, sorry. But you said you had it for Game Boy.
I had Super Mario Land for the Game Boy.
Right.
Super Mario Land was black and white, right?
Yeah.
I was recently playing that.
Great game.
Yep, still slaps, even to this day.
So that's the first game that made me. That's the game that turned me into somebody who was curious about video games into this is what I'll be doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I feel like... So I did have intros to, like, Super Nintendo games, and I did really like them, and Sega Dreamcast. But I feel like my biggest thing that got me hooked was I am, like, straight up a PlayStation person. I have been. And the first game that really caught me was Spyro. And the first 3 games, really, I love. Everything after that, I don't
Not
know.
into Skylanders.
Not really, like, my thing. But
Collect
I think...
them. I'm going to call them amiibos, but that's not...
Yeah.
Is there a connection between Spyro and Skylanders?
Spyro's in Skylanders.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
it's
know
like
that.
the same world, yeah. But the first Spyro game, oh my god. I got the Reignited trilogy when that came out in, I think, 2019 or the end of 2018.
Yeah.
And I will still 100% the first Spyro game in less than 24 hours. And
Nice.
same with the preceding 2 games. I can 100% them in less than 24
Collect
hours.
all the gems and the statues and all those good things.
Yep, do all the secrets, all the good stuff. It is probably terrifying. I get all the eggs from I call them the Nana guys, but yeah, those guys that run away
Oh yeah,
from
you
you
have
with
to chase
the
them
eggs.
down.
Yeah. Yeah, I do the whole thing. It's pretty scary, I feel like. But honestly, that was like my first, I feel like, true delve into fantasy world, since there's dragons in it and stuff like that, and there's magic. And I feel like since then I've been a huge fantasy buff. Even with my reading, like recently I've been falling back into fantasy, and I was like, why did I read other things? Like, historical fiction's fine, but it doesn't like hold my attention. Like,
And you can read historical fiction with dragons.
Yeah.
You don't even need to
Just
leave the
insert them in
dragons
there,
at home.
yeah, just put
There's
it in
a whole series of like the Napoleonic War, but fought with dragons.
Nice. I wish more books would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I need that series in my life. You'll have to share it with me after this. But yeah, I think that was the most like pivotal thing, and that really got me into video games. Like if I was homesick from school or anything like that,
Yeah.
I would be playing
Spyro's
Spyro.
on. Yeah.
100%.
I never owned any Spyro games growing up, but I have played them with emulators later on, and they're very charming. They're very like cozy, kind of safe. I don't know. It's like a game you want to like kind of live in, and it's a very comforting game.
Very briefly obsessed with Spyro for like a year when I got it for PlayStation. I didn't even have a memory card at the time.
Oh my gosh.
The worst way to play the game. So I would have to, every time I wanted to play, just sort of speed run the levels until I had enough allowance to buy a memory card.
We are old.
Oh. I know. And then if the memory card stopped working or got corrupted for no reason at all,
Yep.
Oh my god, not good. Not good.
So my next pick is probably not a surprise if you've ever spoken to me for more than 10 minutes. It's the original Kingdom Hearts. It's a role-playing game where like a young kid's world is destroyed and he loses his friends. And he has to find them with the help of Donald and Goofy, who have been sent by King Mickey to destroy the threat that's, taking out all of these worlds. This came out, I think, in 2002. So I was like 13 when it came out. I saw the commercial on TV. And I was like, oh my God, Disney and Final Fantasy? Is
this real life?
you can... Is any of this real? So I got a PS2 specifically to play Kingdom Hearts. I begged my parents for Christmas. It was like, you have to get me. I don't care if you get me nothing else.
I've made that same bargain.
This is going to be it for me. That's all I need. And so I got it, and I don't know, it changed my life, I would say. It's not my favorite in the series. It's Kingdom Hearts 2, but it's still a game that like I do go back to all the time. I am currently replaying it. It's just despite everything, like it is a very cozy game. The music is fantastic. It's just everything I've ever wanted in a game was in Kingdom Hearts, and everything I currently look for in games was in Kingdom Hearts, except in easy mode, but they added that in later.
Yeah. Yeah, the most recent re-release of it is now available on PC with better textures and a bunch of new quality of life features, and it's been very tempting to pick up, especially when it's on sale, but I don't know. Do you think it still holds up to this day?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it follows a very standard formula. You know, you're basically just going from, like, different Disney worlds and defeating the Heartless, which are, like, the force that's destroying all these worlds to make sure that they don't get destroyed. So a nice, like, good versus evil. The first game in particular, Kingdom Hearts is famous for its absolute nonsense. There's very little nonsense in the first one. I mean, you do have to, like, suspend a little bit of disbelief. They have to follow the Prime Directive, which, you know, they can't interfere, but, like, in future games, that goes right out the window.
Oh, 100%.
It really goes out the window in that game, too. But if you enjoy sort of the Disney worlds, I think it makes it better. If you, like, you don't have to be a diehard fan, but, like, you know, sometimes Aladdin is in your party or Jack Skellington, and you get to kick butts with them, and it's a lot of fun.
I will play it someday.
And you can button smash.
Okay.
You can, absolutely. That's probably one of the parts that I like the most about it. About the gameplay, at least.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
It's a must play.
The whole series must plays. Every single one.
1, 2, 3, or all the spin-offs too?
All the spin-offs too.
Yeah, I did really like Dream Drop. That was one of the spin-offs that I did play.
I really like Birth by Sleep. That was my
Birth by
favorite.
Sleep was great.
All right. I'll get around to it.
We're going to stop ourselves before we
Right
go off on
now.
a giant tangent.
All right. So the next game I want to talk about, speaking of PlayStation and speaking of role-playing games, is a game that Morgan, I think, and Kristina as well, I think you've both beaten this game or played it at least and enjoyed it very much. It's called The Legend of Dragoon.
Ooh, that is on my list.
1999. So this wasn't the first role-playing game I'd ever played. I'd played the Pokemon Red and Blue, which came out many years before this. I'd played Final Fantasy VII, which came out before this. But neither one of them, both of those games I consider, like, you know, one of the best games ever made. But they didn't really hook me the same way this game did. So this game came out in 1999, like I said. Up until this point, role-playing games were pretty slow-paced and, you know, very formulaic. And then what Legend of Dragoon did differently is it had super high-quality cutscenes.
With voice acting.
With voice acting, yeah. They looked very, very impressive, especially for 1999. And the fighting mechanics in the game was not your traditional turn-based fighting. There was like a rhythm game sort of mechanic built in where you had to like match your button presses to some on-screen prompts, basically, which kept me engaged more in the battles, which is a big part of any role-playing game. So that aspect of it really kept me hooked and wanting to push forward, where, you know, other role-playing games, they kind of wear you down with, at least they do for me, with the battle mechanics, can kind of get tiresome after a while.
All the Dragoons are magical girls.
Interesting. So that's like the big, like, other twist of this game is all of your characters can get like their spirit dragons or whatever and turn into like a dragon kind of form of themselves.
They get new outfits.
Yeah. The fashion's pretty. I can see why you were a fan of this game. Very high fantasy, you know, very elaborate, very colorful. You know, the story itself is not mind blowing, but it doesn't change, you know.
The part that has always stuck with me, I think, is there's like a temple, I think it's maybe at the end of disc 1. Or it's kind of like in ruins and you're like investigating something and there's like slides.
Oh yeah, the slides.
Yeah. The artwork
visually
is very, very impressive. Like the pre-rendered backgrounds were fantastic. Yeah, it's also like the first role-playing game that I finished, like all the way through, and this is like a 4-disc game.
Yes.
I think it's like something like 50 to 60 hours to complete, which as 1999 I was 10 years old when it came out. So that was for a 10-year-old to have the attention span to sit through a 60-hour game is
got a lot of time on your hands as a 10-year-old.
That's also true.
Yeah.
But your mind, you're being pulled for the other distractions at 10 years old. So I don't know, that really stuck with me. I still remember like the final boss fight was just epic. But yeah, it was just like I felt like I had accomplished something when I finished it in a way that like you don't really get with like Mario.
I feel like it also is probably not as popular as some of the other role-playing games. I think because it faced a lot of like, this is too similar to Final Fantasy VII, because like the main character is a blonde guy with kind of spiky hair.
Dark.
And the antagonist is a white-haired guy who just kind of pops up and gives you like cryptic messages like Sephiroth. And it's like, I guess.
I'd be hard-pressed to think of a role-playing game that didn't have a spiky-haired protagonist.
It's so
Final
true.
Fantasy IX.
Yeah, that's true.
Zidane has like that boy band hair.
Yeah. So, yeah, Legend of Dragoon, it's just an all-timer for me. I'll still have it like on my phone and just pick it up here and there because it's, very easy to emulate these days. But yeah, it's just an all-timer for me.
I had a Game Shark as a child, and I remember so heavily using my Game Shark on Legend of Dragoon because I could not be bothered with the battles. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, I remember like there were some weapons or items you could use where if you tap the button, it would do more damage the more you tapped it. And
yes.
I think like if you had like a turbo button on your controller, you could just press turbo and hold down the button and it would just press the button like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like wasn't one of the characters, was his name Lance? And then he had a spear as a weapon? Or?
There's King Albert and he replaced the character Lavitz.
Lavitz. Yeah.
Yeah.
And spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil that.
Oh, yeah. Well, there were some, I think Lavitz in particular, when you're doing the battling and you have to time the buttons to get the combo attack.
Harpoon!
Yeah. Yeah, and the accents were bizarre. But I loved every second of it. But yeah, I remember Lavitz in particular, it was extremely hard to time it well. Because it was just you'd be like, okay, 1, 2, and then it's like, ba 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 ba. And you're like, nope.
And some of the characters later in the game are insane. I remember the old Kung Fu
my
guy.
God, yeah.
I couldn't even play as him because his combos were...
There was I'm going to call her a fairy girl. I forget her name. Yeah. That I think has a hammer.
Yes. I remember her.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that the Kung Fu, his daughter or something? I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, not the one who had the bow, but the other... Yeah. The other girl.
The one who had the bow was the love interest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
she had the moon in her or something.
There's
yeah.
Sure.
There's
yeah, that sounds right.
I think there's 3 playable female characters. There's Shanna.
Oh, that's
Rose, maybe?
Rose is the black dragon. Yeah.
Yeah. Who teaches you kind of how to be a dragon, and then this third one that I think you don't get till later in the game.
Way later, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember being obsessed with her, unable to use her in battle because of the stupid hammer.
I'm just unlocking a memory right now. I dressed up as Dart, the main character of the game, for Halloween one year.
I bet a lot of people got it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember painting all of my lacrosse pads red, which looked exactly like his armor.
Wow. Yeah. I wonder if his armor was inspired by lacrosse gear.
Oh, lacrosse is huge in Japan in the 90s. I have no idea.
No, it was just sarcastic.
So that's Legend of Dragoon, 1999. That was that sparked my love of role-playing games for sure. It still sticks with me to this day.
Yeah, I feel like so I agree with Kristina with Kingdom Hearts being my biggest a huge influence, but I feel like that was really my diving into RPG games because I was really interested in Final Fantasy because one of my older cousins used to play it all the time, but my parents refused to let me play it. So I actually didn't really start playing Final Fantasy until towards the end of high school. Legend of Dragoon I played probably in the beginning of high school, made it to disc 4. I still just have disc 4. I don't know what happened to the other ones. I think I gave it back to my cousin. And then I was well, I'm just going to hold on to disc 4 because I'll beat it. And then I think 5 or 6 years later, I finally was I really need to beat this game. And then went back and was able to beat the final boss. But
Lloyd.
Yeah.
Lloyd, yeah. That's it, a white-haired sad boy. I think Lavitz's last name is apparently Slambert.
That was the one thing that I did really enjoy about Legend of Dragoon. Like, looking back at it today, some of the stuff about it was just so ridiculous and absurd, and I loved it.
I think I had the strategy guide for this game, and I wish I still had it. I gotta see if it exists anywhere.
There is, a toy store in Oakdale, Milo Toys, and they very recently had a Kongol action figure in box. It was very expensive. And I was like, literally any other character, and I would scoop that up in a heartbeat. But Kongol?
I do love Kongol because I beat the game. He was in my party when I beat the game. I think I finished it with Kongol, Albert, and Dart, if I remember correctly.
He doesn't have a cute fit, so I don't care about him.
Oh no, he's a giant brute. Barbarian character. Yeah, Is he even wearing clothes? Does he have like a loincloth or something?
I think he has pants on.
Oh, okay, good. All right, we're getting off topic.
We
are.
all
of that's
unhinged. So I guess I'll go into
pick up where you left.
Yeah. So Spyro was released in 1998, and then I was obsessed with the following two games of that, which I don't remember the years that those came out. But going off of that, I was like, growing up, party games were just that in general were huge. I would play them with like my family would get together with like a family friend like every month for dinner, and like we go there and we would all play Mario Party. Yeah, we would all play Mario Party, and I just remember like just having such a good time just playing like games with other people and experiencing the games with other people, the competition of it. Something about it was just so much fun, and there was never any I mean, maybe like one kid would like cry when he lost, but that, he was just really sensitive. Like, come on, guy, you can't get sad if you're losing the mini games. Like, you just have to be better.
Yeah. And the games, it had such a every game had like a chaos element to it.
Yes.
And the fact that like all the stars and stuff that they give you at the end, like there's just so much randomness involved in it that like how can you be upset if you win or lose or lose, because it's whatever. It's just it's so random.
Yeah, and they would like randomly sort you, so sometimes you'd be on a team with the person in the group that's really good at the games, and you're like, oh my god, we're gonna do so good. And then the other person's like, I'm stuck with the bad person, man. But honestly, as someone that like played sports competitively and is kind of a competitive person, I very much enjoyed it. I felt like we'd always be like laughing so much and just having a good time. Obviously there were the sensitive times, but those are fine. And to play off of that, because I feel like party games in general for me were huge, like in middle school specifically. Mario Party was one of them. Crash Bash in particular, I would play with two of my cousins. It would be like me and my sister and two of my cousins playing that game on PlayStation 2. And we'd have the 4 controller connector.
The multi-tap.
Yeah, the multi-tap. And we'd just be playing. There's one where you're riding polar bears on ice and you have to knock each other off the ice, and then pieces of the ice start falling away as this is happening. I think you hit penguins into each other too, if I remember correctly.
There's a lot of variations on that game. Like the platform shrinks and there's less room for everyone to run around. Yeah,
so you're trying to like... Oh, and you can get power-ups, so you can get like really big and get shrunk. And anyway, that like mini game in Crash Bash in general would have us like screaming and rolling on the floor with laughter for hours and hours and hours. Probably if we played it now, we'd be like, what was so great about this? But it was fantastic. And Crash Team Racing too. I don't know, I guess I was a Crash Bandicoot like person.
You're a PlayStation.
Yeah.
PlayStation
literally the staples of PlayStation games. I was obsessed with Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, and the Crash CTR, like the original one, we would play all the time, and it was just the competitive games I really enjoyed in my younger years.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Do I go after Morgan?
I think I go. I started.
Oh, good, because I have a kind of a bummer. So.
So you should go last, so we can end.
So we can end on a bummer.
Yeah, so we can end on a bummer.
Yeah.
Okay. My next game is Bioshock.
Yes.
The first one. So it's probably the only like first person shooter I've ever played. I have not played one since. You are like traveling around this like underwater utopia that has fallen into chaos. It's leaking, it's scary. There's lots of like unhinged residents running around trying to get more.
Adam?
Yes.
Yeah, they're like bioengineer.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like plastic surgery almost. Is like it's an analogy in their world, but it's like gone amok and made everyone crazy.
Yeah. And it's, I guess it's kind of a horror game, and you're playing as Jack, who just sort of like discovers Rapture, and he needs to get out now that he's trapped there. And so I played this in like 2013, just sort of like it was cheap on Steam, so I'll buy this, I'll play it. And it was like the first game I've ever been scared by. I could only play it in like short periods of time.
It's terrifying.
Because like it's dark. You can hear like the residents like screaming all around you. And then you can hear big daddies coming, which are super scary with their little sisters. And it was like also one of the first games that I played where your decisions affected the outcome. So there are, I think, 2 endings to the game.
3. There's one if you save all of the little sisters. There's one if you harvest all of them for their nutrients, and then I think there's a neutral ending.
I thought that as long as if you harvested even one little sister, you automatically got the bad ending. Was my
I could be
understanding. I don't remember because I had to save every little sister. I could not be a bad guy. But just sort of like the atmosphere and like the rundown look of Rapture, I feel like really influenced the like style of game that I like to play. Like I can draw a straight line between playing this game and then playing Horizon Zero Dawn. Like it's a similar type of thing. And I think, I mean, it also has one of the best twists, I think, in a video game.
Yeah. Don't spoil it here, but
I won't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've not played Bioshock, probably because I felt like I was scared of it.
It is very scary. It was like the first, I bought a gaming computer, and it was like the first game I played on my gaming computer. And I regretted it almost immediately, but like the story was so compelling. Like I was like, well, I have to figure out what happened here. I have to explore all these ruins and see like what's going on.
I would say the beginning of the game is more horror, but as you get stronger through leveling up and stuff and get more weapons, it kind of transitions from horror to more of an action game at the end. But yeah, it's just creepy throughout, though, for sure.
Yeah, especially because I could not play. I had to play it on speakers because if I played it with headphones on, like just all of the noises of Rapture in the background just would stay with me all day.
I played Bioshock when it came out on Xbox 360, I guess is what it was on. And I loved it. It's still in like my top 10 maybe games of all time. And I remember finishing it with a good ending. I saved all the sisters, realizing that it had multiple endings, and immediately restarted the game and played it again all the way through to get the bad ending. And it's just like one of those games that's just almost flawless. It's just its design, the story, it feels good to play, like the controls feel good. I mean, it's
mentally it doesn't feel good.
Not mentally, but like the controls and everything like feel very natural. I loved like the hacking abilities you can get, so you can hack security cameras and you can hack the security bots and stuff to kind of work for you as opposed to against you.
The hacking game was like that pipe game that used to be on computers.
Yes, or there's like a grid of pipes and you have to like line up the pipes to get a flow of
from one end to the other.
Which makes no sense when it comes to like in world, but it was a very fun game. Yeah, Bioshock. I wholeheartedly agree with that as a not a recommendation, but it definitely stuck with me as well.
A defining game.
Yeah. Okay, so I kind of cheated. It was too hard to like narrow down 3 games to talk about. So this next one I'm going to kind of more talk about like a year. I'm kind of cheating. So I promise I won't be long. You keep doing this to me. I promise I won't be long. So in 2001, I was 12 years old. I hate to bring it up, but right after 9/11, I think the whole world kind of shifted. Like our vision of the world kind of shifted. We were all kind of shook and awake to maybe like a darker kind of vision of the world. And I was 12 years old. I remember, everyone remembers where they were when it happened. But within 2 months of 9/11, 3 games came out. All 3 of these games are on my top 10 of all time favorite games list. And I don't know if that's a coincidence or if it was just where my head was when I was playing these games. But those 3 games are Grand Theft Auto 3 for PlayStation 2, Metal Gear Solid 2 for PlayStation 2, and Halo Combat Evolved for Xbox. So all 3 of these games are very mature games. They're very violent. They're very dark, gritty, with very mature, with the exception of maybe Halo, mature storylines. So I remember being 12 years old and just being not feeling like an adult, but wanting to understand more of what's going on in the world. And these games were they weren't Mario where you're jumping on turtles. They weren't racing games. They weren't high fantasy games. These were kind of more grounded in reality, especially Grand Theft Auto. And the game was set to release in October. When 9/11 happened, the developers had to go in, because the game is set in what looks like New York City. They had to go in and change a lot of the assets in the game to make the game to resemble New York less. They even had a mechanic in the game where you could fly planes. So they took that out. Oh, wow. They had a whole bunch, I think they even might have had the Twin Towers or something it that they had to remove from the background.
Like in Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. So it was it's just a very gritty, real game. It felt entirely different from anything that I had played up until that point. And it definitely was there at the right time when I was maturing and I wanted a more mature story to kind of live in. And it's still, I think, just as a game, holds up remarkably well. It kind of set the template for open world games that's still being used today. It's just a really cool world to live in. And I remember at the time playing it, being 12, and it's a mature game. I had to get my grandmother to buy it for me. God bless her. Rest in peace. Thank you. Thank you, Granny.
Thanks, Grandma, for Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, but it was just so, that's just a fantastic game. And then Metal Gear Solid was, again, this very complex storyline with stealth mechanics and espionage and all this stuff going on. And I don't think I even understood half of it when I played it the first time, because it was just so dense and complex. But it was just such a high fidelity game. It was so realistic. The cinematography, just the cutscenes were action movie level good. It was nothing I'd seen before. And it's still one of my favorite games today. And lastly, Halo, it was formulaic for me. I do like first person shooters sort of games, and this one still might not have been beaten to this day. It's just so perfectly crafted. The story was great. Every level is iconic. And then you were saying earlier, Morgan, playing with friends, this was the first. I played with GoldenEye, I guess was the first, but this game really was the first game where people would gather. If you heard somebody was having a Halo party, you would go, even if you didn't know them that well, you'd go to their house with your controller, you'd play System Link. I remember hosting Halo parties at my house where I had 15 people over, half of which I'd never spoken to before. We had 4 TVs set up around my house with cables running around, up my stairs, all around, just playing 16-player battles. And it was just one of the best, most fun gaming moments ever. And there's just nothing like it these days.
Yeah, and I feel like we grew up with the beginning of community gameplay like that, like Halo, and playing the party games. It was just a in-person version of that, but then doing the LAN parties and the evolution of that, of what it is now. It's you could have friends across the world from you that you'll get together with in game.
Yeah, that's something that's completely lost nowadays. Now everything's online, which is nice to be able to play, with friends across the country, but with online gaming, it just becomes almost entirely about the competitive side of it, and you lose when you have the people you're playing against sitting next to you, you lose so much of not the trash talking, that's still there, unfortunately, with online, but like just like I don't know, it's just like it's a different feel. You know, it's less about like pure competition and more just like we're having fun together.
Yeah.
One of my cousins actually met her potentially former husband on Halo from across the country, but making real changes in people's lives.
For sure.
Yeah, and it's cool to be having had grown up with the beginning of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is really cool.
Yeah, we're all basically the same age, so it would have been nice if we had somebody here who was like from a different era that could have talked about
person,
like a young blood,
a youth.
Those youths.
But that's my last. I know I cheated and I didn't limit myself to 3 games, but that's all those games came out at like the exact same time, and they all served a very similar purpose.
Yeah, I feel like I have more games that I absolutely could talk about that did affect me, like, and define part of me as I was growing up, but I would just go on forever because I feel like there's quite a few, and they all impacted me in different ways, but I feel like the biggest part of it was finding community in gaming. That was really like how kind of like the central message for me. Besides playing Spyro, that was kind of just for me. And I think part of it was, you said it exactly, Alex, with the coziness of it. It's predictable. It's not a stressful game to play at all. And I feel like when I felt stressed out in my everyday life, even as a child with little people problems, that was always static. It was always there. It was a
predictable, world that you knew what the outcomes were and you knew where to go and everything, and it was a safe
there's
space.
Nothing that I didn't know about that game. And it's still comforting even to this day, because every once in a while I'll be like, man, I have an itch. It's a snow day. I don't feel good. I mean, now that I have a child, that's kind of different, but it looks a little bit different, but it's still something. It's still there.
Yeah. When we were coming up with a theme for this episode, I had pitched cozy games, and I think a lot of the games that I had come up for this episode would have also been on that, because one aspect of a cozy game in my eyes is like familiarity and predictability. So like replaying games is a big part of that. All right, so thank you both for being on this episode and sharing the games that made you. I feel like I know both of you a little bit better now. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.